speaking for the entire board.
Yes, I am, I'm sure I am.
Okay, yes, entertain a motion. for
Mr.
the
Chairman?
extension to purchase.
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant a one-year extension until June 30th, 2010, purchase and sale agreement between the town and the North Reading Housing Authority for approximately 10.55 acres of land located at 71R Chestnut Street and shown on Assessors Map 56, parcel 62, for the purposes of constructing affordable housing for persons aged 62 and over.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Yule, second by Mr. Vino. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Now we're gonna move on to the,
It's a home consortium.
alrighty, we recently became aware that we could use the North Shore Home Consortium money that the town receives yearly towards the building of new affordable housing. We would like to ask the town that this year's allotment of $30,000 be used towards our two supportive funding for our new housing project, when, maybe if, we awarded the grant. We'd also like to ask the selectmen to put this in a letter form so we could put it in our, letter in our grant application, along with the promise that the town would also allocate next year's $30,000 to this project. We're aware that when this grant application is awarded, we will have to go through the process of applying for these monies through the city of Peabody, the sponsor actually of the home consortium funding, but we'll be more than pleased to do all that work when the time comes.
Mary, in the past, what have these funds been used for?
Well, I have, it actually is current, let's see. In the past, it has gone to different projects. In the past, it has gone through, I believe, the, North Reading Housing Authority has used some of this money to buy some homes or some apartments so they could rent out as part of Section 8 housing that the Housing Authority would own. This is money that the North Shore Home Consortium is a group comprised of 30 communities throughout the North Shore, Cape Ann, and Merrimack Valley. The consortium gets about approximately $2 million annually from the federal government, which I assume is HUD money. These funds are then allocated by a formula to all of the 30 communities. It's figured that North Reading gets about $30,000 of this money. It goes to eligible home-funded activities, including the construction of new affordable housing units, first-time home buyer down payment assistance, housing rehabilitation, and tenant-based rental assistance for very low-income households. So I know in the past, maybe a few years ago, some of this money did go to purchase some new housing, or apartments maybe in
For down
Greenbrier.
payments or for actual acquisition?
In the past years, I think there was some more money involved, so maybe it was actual acquisitions, I'm not quite sure.
There's some acquisition utilized.
I'm just trying to understand what the impact would be by moving this money into this area or not.
Actually, some of it was used, I think, for the units we're gonna buy at Central Place.
They were going to use it.
We're going to use it for
Some
that.
of the money was there, and they were gonna use the unit, or put some of the money towards units at Central Place, but they decided not to.
And you're allowed to build up a pool of this money. You don't have to
Well-
spend it in a given year?
No,
or-
you do. It's only, it's either use it or lose it. These are the rules that they have. It's use it or lose it. So we're hoping to get, if we get the $30,000 this year, we're also asking for $30,000 next year, because obviously, when we get this housing, it won't be all built in.
Yeah, we don't have any other 40Bs proposed or any other actions that I'm aware of on the drawing board in relation to opportunities for us to take advantage of these funds. So that, as Mary said, it's a use or lose situation, so therefore I'm not opposed to using this year's and going after next year's.
Yeah. And for us in our grant writing process, we scored very high. If we were living in Kansas, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We'd be having our new
No
housing
place like
project.
home, Mary.
There is no
Kansas,
place
isn't
like
it?
home, Steve, you know that, there is no place like home. So we're doing everything we can do to get these, every little point counts. So if we can show that the town in good faith is promising us this
Put you on
money,
the edge.
it's another point or half a point, and we'll do whatever we can take to get this up and running. So that's what I'm asking for tonight.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion, Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, I move to support the use of this year's North Shore Home Consortium funds by the North Reading Housing Authority towards the 202 supportive funding for affordable housing for persons aged 62 and over at 71R Chestnut Street, when, if, a grant is awarded, and also support the use of next year's funds for the same. For the
Second.
same project.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Mary.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Mary.
gentlemen.
Thank you, Mary.
Have a good night.
She'll get it. She'll get it. They'll get it. They'll get it.
Next item, approve the cell tower lease on North Street.
Board members, if you refer to blue copy in the packet, number 5, there's a letter from town council referring to Rick Coleman, the Clipping Page, together with a cover letter from the attorney representing Verizon, a draft lease agreement which has been negotiated with Verizon Wireless for the location up on North Street. Note that the agreement was authorized by vote of town meeting. If you receive fit to approve the lease this evening, the next step is for Verizon to present its application to the Board of Appeals. The Board of Appeals would say city grants a special permit. Once that appeal permit expires, the lease would become effective, and at that time, the town would be entitled to collect the amounts which are shown in Exhibit B, which is on page 13. The first 10 years, which would be agreeing to the 10-year agreement. The additional 2 5-year extensions, the terminology which is included here. Would also mention that the lease is substantially similar to the lease that we had voted approved a year ago for the location of Swan Pond. However, that was done with a different cell phone carrier. And I believe there are some representatives from Verizon here this evening who are available if the board has any questions about the location of Verizon's intention.
Want to step to the podium, get your name and address?
Yes, my name is Sheila Becker, attorney for Verizon Wireless, and I have with me Chuck Weberly. He does the site acquisition and the real estate acquisition for Verizon Wireless. We've been working with the town administrator and Mark Clark over the last 6 or 8 months, culminating in tonight's meeting.
Does this give you exclusive rights to the tower? So the you sublet?
No, the way the lease is written is that the town owns a portion of any additional subleases that may be written, so that if Verizon goes out and contracts with another vendor.
That's what I meant. Verizon can go out and contract with
Yeah.
someone else?
That's
Right.
right. Yeah, we've agreed to use efforts to attract other companies and manage the installation of their facilities, and the town would receive 35% of the gross revenue.
I encourage you to do that. AT&T stinks up in that area.
Yeah, we'll do what we can.
That what the chairman has?
They'll do what they can. Board members, I neglected to mention, if you refer to the, next to the last page of the blue submittal, you'll see a horizontal view of the tank, or vertical view of the tank. You'll see that the antennas are proposed to be the elongated, they look like bars that are affixed to the actual front panel of the tank. The existing antenna that's on the top is an antenna that's utilized by the town for police and fire communications, so it wouldn't necessarily be anything that's protruding above the surface of the tank.
Now, this is the same kind of antenna setup that was done at the Swan Pond site, too.
I'm not familiar with the Swan Pond site.
No,
but
it was I think it was a T-Mobile.
Yeah, they're very
Right.
similar, and
In terms of the, where they mounted the antenna.
it's proposed that they be mounted, that Verizon Wireless antennas be mounted just below the lip of the top of, the tank, and not protrude above. There'll be approximately 12 antennas, there'll be cables going up, probably along where, the ladder is going up the side, and we'll have a shelter that will be, about 12 feet wide by 30 feet long. The It's a prefabricated shelter. You've probably seen them in other locations, which is Swan Pond, in which all of our ground equipment will be located, including a backup emergency generator.
As far as noise, as far as the generator or anything else, as far as the noise that it produces, how is that mitigated?
Well, the only noise that actually is produced is by the generator when it's exercised just on a weekly basis, and then in the course of a power outage. Otherwise, there's HVAC units that keep the equipment shelter cool, that alternate on and off, and there is a sound attenuating hood that mitigates the sound.
Would they still have to go before the Board of Appeals?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
the
fine.
design will be
That's fine.
discussed quite
They'll take care of it.
extensively during
Yeah.
that process.
And that'll be the whole public review process.
Okay, any other questions?
My other question goes towards the lease and the memorandum of the lease agreement. I was just uncertain for the purpose of the memorandum, if you have the lease, what's the purpose of the memorandum of the lease agreement?
I could answer that for you.
Okay, great.
It's under Massachusetts law, any lease that goes for longer than 7 years needs to have a memorandum, or the lease itself, one or the other, some evidence of the leasehold interest recorded at the registry of deeds. So that's the purpose of that. It just sets forth the parties, the length of the term, and where the lease is located.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, I move to sign the telecommunications lease agreement between the town of North Reading and Bell Atlantic Mobile of Massachusetts Corporation Ltd., DBA Verizon Wireless, for location at water storage tank at North Street, Assessors Map 27, Parcel 14.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ambulance bill write-offs.
Mr. Chairman, just note that you would be signing on behalf of the board.
Oh, okay.
Have a good night.
Right. Mr. Chairman, if you allow me to brief you on the ambulance run report right off. At the board's meeting 2 weeks ago, it was noted that there was a question about the particular run, which was shown here, and there was no information concerning what the reason was for it. You'll note that the fire chief has indicated that they've exhausted efforts to contact the individual, given the situation, that he recommends that the amount be written off by the board.
It looks like they've done a fairly good job of closing the gap.
They have, and this represents, this is not the entire balance, obviously, this represents what's left after an insurance payment.
Yes.
Hey, Greg, in this process, from what I'm gathering here, they had the same result that they had last time. In other words, the person in question is just not responding.
I think the individual circumstances are considered by the fire chief, who knows the individuals involved. And, the question is how aggressively we're going to pursue a claim like this. We're really talking about an insignificant amount of money at this point.
Well, yeah, I know, I don't think it's the dollar amount that would be an issue on something like this. I know last time we did how many? 2? The last meeting, we
There've been
gave
others,
2 of them.
hardship
Right.
waivers, yeah.
Hardship waivers. Okay. I mean, is there any more in the pipeline that we know about? Have they indicated that?
No, but I will tell you that there are frequently billing questions that come up, and that the fire chief has a good understanding that now these accounts get delinquent, and that's why as hardship or write-off requests do occur, they'll come before you on a regular basis.
Do we ever look back at these numbers and realize that came up